Start? All right, good morning, everyone. I'd like to get started this morning. Good morning, everyone. We can get started this morning. Good morning, everyone. We don't have a mic. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to get started this morning.
We're getting started. That's what he said.
Good morning, everyone. If you could take your seats.
Good morning. Please take seats.
Or
Let me be frank with you.
all right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Lafayette Eaton. I'm the East Rochester Democratic Chair. I start by thanking Roseanne Fabi and the St. Nicholas Society for hosting us this morning. So thank you. I'm honored to welcome you to the exciting campaign kickoff event for Mark McDermott and Chad Woodworth, two outstanding candidates for East Rochester Village Trustee. We are pleased to have with us this morning County Executive Adam Bello, who will be an advocate for our community and strong supporter of local leaders who share his vision for progress and prosperity. Adam was the first Democrat elected county executive in nearly 30 years. And his re-election will be historic. In his first term, County Executive Adam Bello led our community through the largest public health crisis that we have experienced. Now, Adam is working with a broad coalition of residents, local government leaders, and community organizers to lead Monroe County's recovery. As County Executive, Adam is working hard every day for our families. His Bring Monroe Back recovery plan is well underway, prioritizing our community's health and safety, ensuring our residents are trained and ready to access in-demand jobs, and improving the quality of life through sustainable investments in our community infrastructure. Adam knows that government works best when we have leaders like Mark and Chad who are willing to roll up their sleeves, bring people together, and work together to find solutions to the shared challenges we face. Today, we are here to rally around Mark and Chad, who are committed to working hard for our community and to ensuring that our village continues to thrive and grow. But before we hear from our candidates, let's welcome County Executive Adam Bello to the stage.
All right, Lafayette, thank you. Let's give a round of applause to leadership, East Rochester Democrats. Let me tell you something. I've gone to a lot of political kickoff events and things like that over probably 20 years. This is a huge turnout for the East Rochester Democratic Committee, so thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support for Mark and Chad and their candidacy, and I appreciate the kind words going back through what we've done over the last several years. But I think the point and the real message behind all of that, whether you're talking about how the pandemic really impacted our community and created the biggest health crisis certainly that we've seen in generations, and then all the other agenda items that we have moving forward, I think one of the most powerful lessons of all of that is that who we have in local government and who's serving us in local government has never been more important today than it's ever been before. Because local government is really where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, right? We were the ones responsible for all that direct sort of hand-to-hand combat here when it came to COVID-19. But we're also the ones that are responsible. You think about the challenges facing our community today, the challenges around safety, public safety, and crime that we see in our communities, right? When you think about other health crises like the opioid pandemic that's still taking lives in our community, talk about infrastructure. Chad was already lobbying me on the way in the door. So we're talking about this is where we invest dollars and have the most impact in people's lives when it comes to roads and sidewalks. The county just started a new program with bike lanes now onto county roads. It's the first time ever the county is doing bike lanes. So it's a whole new way of thinking about how we do infrastructure in this community, and of course putting people to work and creating jobs and filling all these in-demand jobs that we have in our community, the workforce training, and things like that. And so local government matters. And we need partners in local governments to get this done, right? The partnership that we had with towns all across this community to really make that impact when it comes to infrastructure, issues around safety are critically important. So we need more partners, and that's why we need Chad and Mark here in East Rochester, because we need those local partners that we can work with to really move the community forward, making sure that we're not just talking about the issues facing our community, but we're getting something done and we're actually moving the needle on something. And that's why this campaign this year, these races this year are so critically important. I also want to acknowledge Jen Lunsford, your state assembly member. Think of how great this is what partnership looks like, though, right? You have such great partners in government here in East Rochester. John Baines in our county legislature, Howard Mafucci. So it's about partnership. It's not about politics, right? Because that's the other part. You know, Chad and Mark, what I really like about them, this isn't about being a Democrat or Republican, right? I know there's probably some Republicans in the room now. There's independents and blanks and everything else. This is just about working together and getting the job done. We don't have to do what we see on TV when you're looking at CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, people yelling at each other. That's not what good government is, right? And on the local level, we focus on good government. It's about getting something done. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Chad and Mark. We have a long campaign season ahead of us, but we knock on doors, we talk to our neighbors, we pull everybody out to vote. We're going to be successful. I also want to thank our party chair, Stephen DeVay, who's here from the Democratic Party. Herding Democrats from around the county can be a difficult task, Stephen, but I thank you for doing it. So thank you. All right. So thank you, everybody. God bless you. Let's keep up the good work and let's knock on some doors. All right.
All right. Thank you, County Executive Bello, for joining us today. Your leadership and dedication to our community is very much appreciated. And now it's my pleasure to introduce New York State Assembly Member Jen Lunsford. Since being elected to Assembly in 2019, she has worked tirelessly to represent the 135th District. She represents ER in Albany by serving on the Environmental Conservation, Economic Development, Insurance, Local Government, and Library Committees. She has also played a key role in getting funding for some projects at the DPW here in East Rochester, as well as the local road repairs you see going on in the village. Assemblymember Lunsford's district office is right here in East Rochester, at the Iyer Building. Yeah. Please join me in welcoming Assemblymember Jen Lunsford.
Thank you guys so much for giving me an opportunity to come here and support Chad and Mark, both of whom I have known, some for years, some more recently, but because they came to me as advocates. They came to me before they were running for office because they care about this community. East Rochester is a really special place. One of the reasons I cited my office here is because this is an incredibly walkable community. The public transportation here is strong, and because this is a community with some of the highest needs in my district. So I wanted to go to where the need was. And I know from working with everybody in this community that everyone cares. You know, this is an incredible place, and it is so close to being cool. Like, right there. Like, it just needs a little bit of a push, and I think we need some fresh ideas, and that's what Chad and Mark will bring. You know, County Executive Bello talked about partnership, and I am incredibly blessed to work with what I truly believe is the best delegation in the New York State Assembly and the Senate. We work very, very closely together. And one of the ways we're successful is we have incredible partners at the county level, at the town levels, and at the village levels. If you look at the places we've been able to provide the greatest amount of resources and the greatest amount of support, it's the places where we have the strongest partnerships at every level of government. It's about communication. It's not about party. I deliver great resources to some of my Republican-led towns because we work together. We don't make it about party. We make it about the people. And that's what I hear when I talk to Chad and Mark. It's about the people. It's about the promise of this community. I'm really excited because I too have been around for a bit. I've been to a few kickoffs. I don't know half of you. That's amazing. I normally walk into a room and I'm like, here we are again with the same 15 people. This is a huge turnout, and it's a huge turnout of new faces and new energy, and that's what you need, because campaigns are run by energy. It's a volume game. It's about the number of doors, the number of people, the number of conversations, and that's where all of you come in. Nothing replaces a live door knock, and that's what these candidates need from you. So if you can spare a few moments, give them an hour or two, a couple weekends to knock some doors, meet your neighbors. It is my favorite part. I'll tell you, that first door, it's a little rough. Even for me, after a million doors, I'm like, yeah, I got the doors. But once I'm out there, I can't stop, because it's inspiring, it is exciting, and it's where real work is done. I also want to acknowledge our family court candidates who are here today. We have Maria Reed and our judicial candidates are also incredibly important, and they're going to help drive out those numbers this year. So let's make sure that we don't sleep on 2023. We need to get the vote out up and down the ticket, and that's where you come in. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be a part of this, and let's knock some doors. Yes.
All right, thank you, Jen, for joining us today. Your support of East Rochester community is greatly appreciated. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce former Mayor of East Rochester, Fred Ricci. Mayor Ricci is a well-respected leader in our community and who has dedicated his life to public service here in East Rochester. He served as mayor for 2 terms, during which he worked to improve the lives of the residents of our village. He is also a former teacher and village trustee. It is an honor to have him here with us today. Please welcome Mayor Ricci.
I didn't know I was going to be asked to speak until about 10 minutes ago or so. As I look around the room and I listen to previous speakers, I want you to know I worked on their campaigns vigorously. I believe in them. I always have believed in them, and there is no telling how far they can go. East Rochester obviously is my home, and it has been my family's home since 1902. My grandfather, my maternal grandfather, Luigi Zito, yes, Zito, not Ricky, lived 1 block away. He moved here in 1902 to work on the railroad. My grandmother, who was not yet married to him, came here in 1905 as we changed our name to East Rochester. We were dispatched back then. And they were married at St. Jerome's Church in 1905. So I've been here. My family's been here before there was a here, before there was a St. Nicholas Hall. This organization was intended to help immigrants adjust to life here. It wasn't here yet, but my family did it. And I'm so proud of who I am and where I am, because East Rochester is my home. As mentioned, I was mayor, I was deputy mayor, I was the village administrator for a bunch of years, I was a board member. I think that all started in the dark ages. I can't remember when. I always wanted to participate. I always wanted to belong to what was going on here, because I've been so proud of this community. Now, Mark and Chad, I have to admit, I do not know as well as I want to know. I want to know you as a trustee, okay? You deliver that for me, please. Mark McDermott, I knew as a high school student, because among us, before politics, I was a teacher in the East Rochester school system. And Mark was amazing. He was quiet, but he was artistic, he was brilliant. He's the guy that we want involved in everything we do. And do I have to tell you how much he's already been involved? Mark has done more in our park system than anyone in the history of the community. We've always prided ourselves in our parks and how beautiful they are. And not as beautiful as they've been since Mark took over their maintenance and care. And believe me, there is such a deal. Here's the sensitivity of this young man. Not so young anymore, right? Daryl Pearson murdered. Who constructs the most gorgeous statue, bronze statue of Daryl Pearson, and dedicates it to his memory? And now, please, check it out at Village Hall. When he called me to tell me he had done that, I was not surprised. But when I saw what he did, I was in tears. Then, to top that, the dedication of the Bronze Eagle at Edmund Lyon Park. Have you seen that? Dedicated to the veterans and to former service people here. Amazing work of art. Nobody paid him for that. Nobody paid him for the Daryl Pearson statue. But no one has to pay him. He's here because he loves us, because he loves this community. And if we don't have people serving us who have that deep a feeling, we're in the wrong place. I served East Rochester either as a teacher or as an elected official for about 45 or 50 years, I'm not sure. So I think I can judge candidates like Adam and Jen, Chad, and even Mark. Go for it. Please support them.
Thank you, Fred, for all your service to the community and for joining us today. Now the reason we're all here. Let's hear from our candidates, Mark McDermott and Chad Woodworth. Mark and Chad, thank you for stepping forward to serve the community. We know that you have the passion, the dedication, and the vision to make the real difference in East Rochester. Can you tell us a little bit about your campaign and your plans for the village?
Mark, why don't you start?
I'm the quiet one.
Yeah.
For all these things Jen was saying, there's a lot of new faces here I've never seen, and this is really great. Mark McDermott, I've been here half a century. My approach to a village is I don't want to talk, I want to get involved, I want to work. I want to try to make it better for people to get along, to just make their community grow. So I work through the parks, I work through green initiatives. Any talent I may have, I just want to give to this village. I started the Parks Committee in '07, and it's been going now. I started a metal reclamation program, so that all the money we collect, we don't ask taxpayers, we collect it out of metal, and it goes right back into the parks. So far, we've donated close to $20,000 back into the village. We've set up a forestry program with Cornell University. East Rochester is a test site. That's it for the green. But what I do want to say is I want to welcome Chad to this community. He's the Energizer Bunny. He's very, very good at working to make this village a walkable bike community. He knows a lot, and we need to get his ideas up and going, boots on the ground. So, your turn.
Thanks. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chad Woodworth. I moved to town about 5 years ago. My wife and I, we have a small family growing. We have 2 daughters right now. We work with the county to give homes to kids who need them, safe homes, loving homes. And I got involved with local politics just over a year ago. And actually one of the first persons that I talked to was Mark. And like one does when they talk to Mark, we talked about trees. And, we were talking about street trees and how they can slow traffic. And in addition to raising property values and beautification, can make it safer for pedestrians on the sidewalks and people who are using the streets outside of cars. And in that conversation, Mark told me that he has trees in his backyard that are more than 120 years old. And whenever you talk with Mark, you really get a feeling that he's somebody who has a vision for the long term, and that Mark wants to make those 120-year investments in our town, and he also wants to make our town better right now. And that's really how we're approaching the campaign. We have an incredibly supportive community of people who are legacy East Rochester and people who are new. We can do more than one thing at a time. We can make it good for people who've been here forever and people who are new and starting their families like me. And I'm really proud and just so honored to be surrounded by a lot of people who want to make that happen too. We have an incredibly energetic campaign planned, but the most important thing is talking to people and asking what they need. We have a very serious campaign promise that if you ask us anything, we'll get you a public response in 24 hours. Mark and I are your neighbors, and we're here to listen to you and find out how to make this community better. And I think what's more, we are willing to learn, and we're willing to have our beliefs and our ideas challenged, and we just want to know what people need, because it might be something we need but never thought of. So I'm proud to be in this race. I'm proud to run with Mark, proud of the committee and everything we've done, and I just look forward to meeting you all more and making some great progress for East Rochester. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mark and Chad, for sharing your vision for us today. We are confident that your leadership and our village will continue to prosper and thrive. And to all of you in the audience, I urge you to get involved in the campaign. Volunteer your time. Spread the word. And let's work together to elect Mark McDermott and Chad Woodworth as our village trustees. Thank you all for coming today, and let's get to work. We have food and drink. If you want to take photos of the candidates, you can do that as well. So please stick around if you'd like. And thank you for coming.